Hi, baby. On Friday, I found myself eating lunch at Embarcadero, the marina right next to where my new job is. And these two guys walk by, one talking much louder than the other, and end up sitting in the shade in the tree next to where I was seated. It was pretty warm out. And one disappears and goes off into the distance, and the other is just laying around seemingly taking a nap. He's wearing a nice linen shirt and khaki pants and no shoes. And the other guy was wearing cowboy boots and a cowboy hat. And basically, we get to talking, and I find out the guy in the pink shirt lives on this boat out in the marina. And the three of us just start talking about what it's like to be, what brings us to San Diego, and what it's like to be a human, basically. They seemed pretty out there, but also like good people. And they invited me out there, and I thought, well, this might be a bad idea, but it'll definitely be interesting. So more interesting than walking home. So I had run out of coins for the bus. They don't take debit cards on the bus, and I don't get paid in cash, so it's a weird kind of situation to be in. Anyway, so we're heading out to this guy's boat, and the motor in the small boat is broken. It's just like in the rowboat as extra weight. And one of the guys who I guess works at the marina came over and nicely towed us to the boat. So the type of boat this guy lives on is called a trimaran. It's all decked out on the outside with solar panels and vegetables and herbs growing on the deck. And he apologized for the mess and all of that, and like, whatever, you weren't expecting company. And yeah, we just continued talking about cryptocurrencies, and like that's how I guess he makes his money, though it doesn't cost much to live on a boat once you own the actual thing. We just got to talking about like maritime laws and like who lives where and what country owns you, and even more so than that, he was telling me about his views about reality, I guess is a good way of putting it, about chakras and auras and mysticism. So yeah, it was like super interesting. And it was fun to spend an afternoon on a boat listening to him talk about the titans and how they are among us, and how the land masses are really the bodies of titans turned to stone, and all of his adventures in South America and his experience with Peru, which is so different from mine. You know, being from there and having family there just seems much more normal. But of course, other people go, I think, from outside the culture and see it through a different lens, depending what activities they're partaking in. After a couple hours, I was like kind of ready to go back to land. So we hitched a ride on a boat traveling by with an engine, and made our way back to the docks, and they were really nice, gave me a bus pass for the day, and yeah, just appreciated the conversation and the company, really. So I thought I'd paint his boat, though full disclosure, as you can see in the clips, the boat didn't have its sails out, obviously it was docked, and they were technically blue, but I thought orange would look nicer against the blue sky and the blue ocean and the surfboard and everything. So yeah, a little creative editing on my part. And overall, I'm glad that I went out there and had those conversations and met some new people. I think a lot of us, I included, talk about how fear stops us from experiencing life fully. And of course, you strive to have better judgment and make, right choices and whatnot, but I've always found that like leaning in, taking an assessment of the situation and then leaning into discomfort leads to some sort of learning or connection. And if you're open yourself, then other people are receptive and they're often open back, and you can end up hearing a pretty good story. And knowing that somebody who probably isn't listened to that often has been heard, those people often have the best stories because they've just been saving them up or playing them in their head. So it's kind of nice to give audience to that. So thanks for listening and watching. I hope this was interesting to you. and I will be posting more stories and more illustrations to come.